Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Matrix Dialogues. I'm your host, Austin Boozer, and this is a bit more of a special episode for me in the way to do here in June, really regarding men's mental health. I wouldn't say it's something that goes under. It serves in the complex idea if it's under talked about and over talked about. Is it's easy in June to be like, check on your boys, check in with everyone, but really it's something that needs to happen outside of June as well, not just in this month. Obviously, obviously, as a man who has struggled with mental health, this is very relatable and impactful to me. So I wanted to just kind of spend a little bit today talking about some of the aspects of mental health and kind of just throw some information out there for people. So hopefully it'll resonate, or you can share with someone, or anything to just bring more awareness and maybe ways to help those men in your life who may be struggling. So just some quick fast facts is one in 10 men experience some form of depression or anxiety, but less than half seek any kind of treatment. That's from the CDC. And 40% of men with a diagnosable mental illness do not receive treatment at all, often due to stigma, social expectations, or lack of awareness. So there's a lot of guys out there who, even though this says lack of awareness is one of the reasons why they don't, but there's a lot of men out there who know they have a problem who don't get any help for it, despite knowing that they need to. Suicide rates in men die by suicide on average almost 3.94 times more likely than women. Now, that's data from the end of 2023. Middle-aged men account for the highest portion of suicide rates. That's men between the ages of 45 and 54. Men who have served and are veterans, veteran male suicide rates are 1.5 times more likely than regular males. So if you're a vet, you're almost twice as likely to be at risk in that way. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for men in age of 15 to 34. So that's kind of, let that sink in that I'm 29, 30 years old, so my audience is generally in their 20s to early 30s. Is a man in that age range between 15 and 34. The second leading cause of death for men in that age range is killing themselves, not drinking and driving. I don't know what number one is, but still, that's number two. So I don't know. That's impactful to me. It speaks a lot that if you have a boy or a man in your life who's in that age range, just check on them, make sure they're okay. And if they're showing signs that they need some help, try to be an option of that for them. Life's hard enough. In other news, men account for 75% of all alcohol-related deaths. Men are more likely to be a little bit more violent in their suicide attempts. Firearms is a huge contributing aspect. So if you know someone who has a firearm, definitely don't try to take it from them. But if you know they're obviously not in a good mental health spot, definitely check on them anyway. Unemployment, divorce, and social isolation are strongly correlated with increased suicide risk to men. So if you got, in your life, just lost his job or went through a divorce or maybe struggling socially, again, just check on him. These things are not, they're just not something to ignore. And it's too easy to. We all get busy. We're all told, suck it up, be a man. You don't need anything, or you can figure it out yourself, or if you seek help, you're weak. I've offered the idea before that I think real men are simply just men who can regulate themselves. Not that they have the absence of emotion, but they can manage life with it anyway. Because you can't numb yourself to solely just feeling good, bad. If you numb yourself, you're numb to everything. You're numb to the good, to the bad. There is no just partial numbing. I guess that's probably the better way to say that. And though maybe there is some appeal there, I guess, per se, to numb. Again, it's just another tool of avoidance. You could use drinking or drugs or sex or whatever you want to put in the fill in the blank there with. It's just a fill of a void. You'll still be just as empty afterwards as you were previously. Nothing will really change. So seek the help. And if you know someone who needs help, reach out to them. Even if, and I don't know if there's a stigma to it, but the idea that maybe I reached out and they said they were fine. It's yeah, but if you know they're not, then just keep asking. Just keep checking. Just keep seeing. because you don't know. Like, you don't know if they're actually okay, if they're maybe struggling with things that, I don't know. It's very unlikely that someone who is struggling is, whether you're a man or woman, going to just on the first go, someone's like, hey, are you okay? They're going to be like, oh my God, I've been waiting for someone to ask, But on that same note, as I've said multiple times before too, if you're someone who is struggling, you have an obligation to selfishly remove your I'm a burden, I'm a problem, as you're not allowing the people who say they want to be there for you to be there for you, because you're blocking the ability for them to be there for you at all. So some other topics on this that I want to hit on, like, why do men need to feel? How emotional? So it's easy to suppress our emotions as men. I think we all know, at least for me, I know anger. Any guy I know is usually pretty quick to that as well. He knows when he's upset. He knows when he's angry. Much else, not so much maybe. Realizing that you can feel more than one emotion at the same time. I learned that in therapy. That was kind of a baffling thing to me. That I could feel angry and excited, or angry and fearful, but it's easy to just focus on one. It's like you're just scared, or you're just angry, or you're just whatever the emotion is presently. But understanding you can feel multiple emotions at the same time. And again, I think building your emotional strength, your emotional resiliency, just makes you a better man. There's no negative precursors to it. It doesn't do anything to detriment your value at all. It only just amplifies it. High functioning depression. So many people you may know really hate their life and are just good at it, right? They're good at life. They succeed. They have good careers. They have the ideal family, right? But on the inside, they hate their life. Discuss this topic with a couple other guys about, it's easy to look at what someone has, like the life. Oh, they've got a really good career, and they've got the house and the family and the car and all the things. But if you really knew them on the inside, they're pretty miserable, and they hate their life most of the time. And would you trade those things? Would you trade your life for those things? Would you trade what you have? Maybe you enjoy your life. Maybe you love the people around you. Would you trade all that away to not, have that? And I think it's easy to say, oh yeah, of course I would. But like, yeah, you probably wouldn't. And I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to either. So it just because it doesn't appear readily available, like it doesn't pop out to you that, someone's struggling or has a problem, doesn't mean that they don't. So, the loneliness epidemic. You can ask a lot of men, like, if you were having a hard time, who would you go to? And the common answer that they'll say is, it's no one. I've asked a lot of my male friends this in time and found that the people they feel they can actually turn to and find comfort or solace in is generally, sadly, no one. That if things were hard, or if they were struggling, or if they needed just someone to talk to, it's like, I just wouldn't go to anyone. I just figured it out. And though that resiliency and toughness is what makes us men, it's also what can lead us down an unfortunate path. I think, especially today with social media and everything else, maybe not quite to social media, I won't pin it solely on that, but I think the way the world has changed a bit, there's a lack of deep male friendships. And I think it's, you need a tribe of people who are like-minded, perspective to you, who can help you. And men need other men to lean on as well. And even just knowing that people are there and that they're there for you. Pays its weight in gold. It's hard to find good people like that. And you can have a continuous availability and access to people who think and are there for you, that can drastically increase the overall benefit of your own life. And ways to be mindful through this issue is, it's okay to slow down a bit and be present in moments. It isn't a weakness. It's easy to get distracted by all the continuous running and needing to go from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, and neglecting taking proper time and care of yourself or of the things that you need to do. Yeah, so if you can just learn to be still, create a little bit of self-awareness, you can be insanely powerful. Managing stress can be a big thing here. You're a guy who lives in like a stress cycle, worried about things you didn't do right before and how you're potentially still going to fuck it up again. It's no way to live. Like, you're not the past. You're you. You're you right now. And you aren't the things you did before or the mistakes you made at one time. You're you today. Like, that's who you really are. And it's easy to attach our identity to the things that we didn't get right and the failures and the mistakes and what we could have been. And yeah, life requires more of us than that. And it's easy. It's harder to push past that. And that's why the value is there. And also being willing to acknowledge that maybe something isn't okay. I spent a lot of time personally saying that, no, I was fine, that I didn't have anything wrong with me, that I was okay, that I didn't need to go to therapy, that, not that saying mental health wasn't real, but they're like, no, I could never be depressed. I could never be that sad, or, think about wanting to hurt myself in any way. Like, I'm better than that. That's for people who are weak or not mentally tough or don't have the right resilience in them. And like, I'm not that, so I couldn't fall victim to those things. Anyone can, It's actually probably the more hyper successful or capable you think you are, the more likely you are to eventually end up in that scenario. So yeah, just if you think you can't fall victim to it or be susceptible, you can. And you're not weak because you did. If life got to be a little too much and you found yourself in a dark spot and found like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I want to be here. Who would even care if I wasn't here? What value do I have to the people in my life? It's okay to face those things, but you have to be okay admitting that you do feel that way in order to fix it. A good question I've wrestled with, and I asked a couple other guys in previous episodes, was what does it mean to be a man? Like, in today's culture, like, what is a man? Like, when do you become a man? How do you know you're a man? What does that actually mean? Like, what is being a big man up? Be a man, bro. Like, what is that? What does that even mean? And if I had to try to answer that question for myself, I always kind of come back to someone who can take responsibility for something other than himself in his own life. We look at references that show like people who get married younger are happier. I think it's because you ignite that spark of man tendencies, behaviors. You get to take hold of something in your life, be responsible for it. Like, you have a wife, you have a spouse, you have something that is bigger than you to take care of, to look after, to be aware of. And on that same note, I think the other, because you need two sides of proof for data to show it works. That's also why, regardless of age, people who mentally didn't mature or progress the proper way, whether they're 18 and get married and they're immature, like, the relationship probably won't work. And inversely, if they're 38 and they're still stuck in frat boy mentality or are not ready to take that responsibility per se, that they will still fall victim to the same types of things, like that they will struggle to have meaning and value in their relationships, and they won't want to take that responsibility. So again, like with anything, if you plus, how do you find out if your addition's right? Well, you can like subtract it, right? So it's do the reciprocal, do the opposite. And I think, it's like, did marriage really make people happier when they were younger? It's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to make people happier when they're older either. Or just because you waited to get married till you were older would mean you would have a more successful marriage. That's also not true. So yeah, I think just what does it mean to be a man? Just to be willing to serve other people in your immediate proximity, your family, your community. Well, you can scale that up as large as you'd like it to be, but for something other than yourself. Something that maybe even will detriment you, something that there maybe is so little benefit to you by doing. Oh, this one, difference in like discipline and self-punishment. I think that's an interesting one that a lot of men can easily fall into, is like, no, I'm just disciplined, bro. It's like, or are you the thing that's hurting you? Like, you're punishing yourself for the times you came up short, the times you think you could have done more, the times that, and if you really could have, then okay. But again, the sweet spot for that is a touchy game to play, and one that I think no one's really capable of quite getting right. And the only way to get it right is to get it wrong. It's to be too overboard. Like, at first, you will have to commit yourself to being, like, you will put yourself in a position where you'll punish yourself maybe too harshly, rather than be kind to yourself. And that's how you'll know. You have to have that awareness about you and people around you who you trust in order to guide you through that and say like, hey, maybe, maybe that thing didn't go the way you wanted, but is it worth the response you're giving it? That's a humbling thing too. Good people around you. So yeah, discipline versus self-punishment. Oof. I think again, any man who's really like type A and a go-getter or whatnot, this is something that will plague his existence. It's so easy to cross the line from I'm being disciplined to I'm just self-loathing, punishing myself for the things I feel I could have done better. And another thing to think about, just for guys holistically, so to I guess maybe fortify yourself a bit more when life does get hard is, when the mask falls off, who are you without the job, the body, the status, the money? Like, who are you really? Like, who is the real you? What does that version of you look like? And do you love that person? If you took everything away, would you still be like, I could do it again, or I could become that again? It's easy to tie worth to accomplishment, success, physique, money. And there's so much more to it than all of that. So just kind of do a little bit of reflecting on who you are. And when life transitions and puts you in a position to really, when you get the opportunity to really get a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, when you get the opportunity to get a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, like really take that look. Not in a, oh God, what's the word? Like where you're kind of full of yourself, but in a way to like reflect, to really assess, are we going in the direction we want to go? Are we doing the things we want to do? Is this the life I said I wanted? And if it is, and I have it, what am I still chasing? Yeah, focusing on the things you can control. That's a huge one, regardless of man or woman or anyone. This is kind of just some general advice at this point. Control what you can and let go of what you can't. Understanding the power of peace and peace of mind, and that acceptance of things that you can't control in this quote unquote chaotic world. There'll always be things that lie out of the realm of your control. So just focus on the things that you do have control over. It'll really make a big difference in your life. Because that's all you can control is what you can control, simply. Right? Crazy life shocker advice there. But yeah, just focus on what you can control. It's too easy to be pissed off or upset or frustrated or anxious or fearful of what you can't control. But you'll continue to just be that. So if you ever really want to find a sense of peace and be able to take that breath, if you will, it's going to require you to be okay with letting go of things that you can't control. The other one, it's hard to swallow, but it's the truth, is pain is not the problem. It's your avoidance of what caused the pain or what was left after the pain happened. Pain is inevitable. Trauma, sorrow, anguish, hard times, they're just part of existing. There's nothing that makes you less or more capable to deal with them. Okay, that's not true, actually. Hold on. Flip that. Those things aren't avoidable, so your life is better because of them, because of the things that don't go well for you. And it's really easy to be like, oh, when my dad left, that fucked me up. Well, no, what's fucking you up is the fact that you won't deal with it, that you won't put yourself in a position to move past it. Oh, when that girl cheated on me, it made me never trust anyone again. Yeah, but that means you can't deal with it. There's always going to be bad people. There's always going to be people who take advantage. There's always going to be thieves and people being deceitful and trying to take advantage of you. But it's like, you don't choose to be good and kind and loving and trustful or trusting because those people don't exist. You do it because they do exist anyway. Yeah, so whatever you endured isn't what's actually the problem. The problem is that you won't deal with it. When life's hard, you find out where you're weak. So if you can use the adversity that you're facing as a mirror or as a tool to get better, in a way to empower yourself a bit more, I'm very confident. I know people would be better. The times I actually was willing to take responsibility and when hard times are present, they reveal who you are. And if you can use the adversity as a mirror, place to show you where you're weak. Every time I've avoided something and blamed life, like, oh, how it was this hard thing that happened that really, again, like that the pain is the problem. It's like, no. The pain just revealed where you were weak. Like it revealed where you weren't capable, where you weren't as strong as you thought you were. And without that occurrence, you wouldn't know. And so again, it's easy to be like, ugh, this inconvenience, this disruption. But really that's the thing that's going to teach you. And maybe it's the thing you need in order to grow, to get better, to show you that what you're not doing. Man, dopamine runs the world. Easy to get caught up in that you're lazy. But are you overstimulated? Are you burnt out? Like why? I've had a lot of women ask me like why where are the motivated men? They're there working quietly, right? They're not the ones who are brashly speaking out, and they're putting their head down and working, and they're finding maybe not peace and solitude, but they're finding solitude, and they're doing more than they think they can constantly with less than maybe what they feel they should have. And it took me too long to realize that I couldn't do it alone. That whatever mountain of success I wanted to climb, I would need help to climb it. And some people would only be around for a portion of that climb, and that's okay. But you still need them, and be grateful for them. Because a lot of people really somehow climb with no one. But eventually they lose the ability to climb any further. Because again, you cannot do it alone. Like, we give some just advice to, and advice I do try to give to younger men is that you can't do it alone. Lone wolf, this whatever mentality is false. It's not true. It's actually a misinterpretation collectively. You know, you have to have people. You can do a lot on your own, but to get to the real peaks of life and do things that you never thought were possible, you need others to do that. And if you do find yourself losing that want or will, maybe it's because it's not the thing you actually thought you wanted. I think that's that's a reframe. Is it really the thing that you thought you wanted? It's easy to be like, no, I want this thing. And then as you start progressing towards it, you're like, actually, I don't want her to be a bodybuilder. Maybe I don't. Like, I feel like shit, and I need to take these steroids because I want to compete and I want to be the best. But actually, like, I really don't like how I feel, and I'm tired of chicken and rice, and I really don't want to do 3 miles per hour on a 15 incline for another 45, 50 minutes for another time in my life. I'd rather do some other form of cardio or whatever. Like, if you find yourself in that position, maybe you don't want the thing you thought you wanted. Yeah, so just use that as maybe you're not burnt out. Maybe you're just pursuing something that actually isn't what you want. So many people don't know what they want. I'll say it over and over and over again. Just take the time to figure out what you want. What is it that you actually really want? Like, what's the thing you want? When you don't feel like yourself anymore, kind of try to figure out why. What is causing a disconnect? Did you lose something? Partner, job, something that you found a lot of credibility or identity in? Because if you do, that can definitely make you feel that way. And so if you're starting to feel like, man, I feel like I'm losing it, or I don't feel like me anymore. Well, one, you're going to evolve, you're going to change, you're going to be a different person in the next 10 years of your life than you were in the previous. But look at, again, like, I always like to ask myself, like, 5 whys. Like, why do I feel this way? What's making me feel this way? Am I part of the reason I'm feeling this way? Yeah, and then once you spend some time in that, it becomes a little bit easier to see what you actually think, what you actually feel. Yeah, there was a long period in life where I didn't think I could do this anymore. This isn't like living, being alive. There were many nights where I spent time contemplating taking my own life because it felt easier. It felt easier than suffering anymore. It felt easier than hurting. And obviously now, in hindsight, I know that was not the way to go. That's why I'm here. I love my life and I love the people I have around me. But it's really, really easy to get sucked in to the idea of it would be better if I just wasn't here. And it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be better if you weren't here. And I can firsthand say I know what it's like to not want to be here anymore. And to really, really wrestle with the monsters in your mind and your heart that say you shouldn't be. I've shared on the show before that I had tried to drink myself to death at some point in my life, and then also tried to just take as many pills as I could to force me into oblivion, not feel anything anymore. And neither of those are the right way to go. There's other options out there for you that you should pursue. Life is valuable. You're valuable. And that's not on some special shit. You mean something to someone. You're important. Your life matters. So this whole Men's Mental Health Month thing, again, I mean, most guys won't speak up anyway. But I want to try and take the time to create this space and this environment and this platform to say it's okay to know you're battling something. It's okay for it to maybe even be winning today, but not forever. Right? You can beat it. You can overcome it. And if you're in that spot and you just feel like there's no way you're making it out, and if you can just hold on, just hold on. Because if you come back from that, the rest of your life is something special. Have something that very few people have, because so many people, when they take that walk, that's it. They don't come back. So if you're able to reel yourself off the edge, and I think only you can do it. So even if you do have people there, as I've said, like, hey, check on people, do this and do that, but like they still got, like, you still have to want to do it. Like you have to be like, I want to live. I want to be here. I want to do something different with my life. You're the only one who can pull you off that edge, but when you do, the rest of life gets really great. The way you see the world, the way you see the things that you encounter with people, the experiences you have, like, it's all great after that. Doesn't mean there won't be hard times. There's still obviously hard times and these where you're like, fuck, but they're more manageable and they seem less frequent. And the perspective you have of like, well, shit, this isn't as bad as what I wanted to like, really dark joke, but you have a perspective that's so unique afterwards. So if you're a guy going through anything, or you're a woman, or if you're a person going through anything, just know you're not alone. Plenty of us have walked that same walk and we've walked back. It doesn't have to be a one way. You can choose to turn around and come back. To come back and create a better life and create a better version of you. And again, you're no less of anything because maybe you did take that walk. Maybe you did have those thoughts. Because, hey, maybe you even made that attempt. Like, you're still worthy of the love and the appreciation and the kindness and the gratitude and all the things in life that we all deserve to feel and experience. But you're the only one who can save you. No one else can. So, to all the fellas, man, bro, if you're feeling down, feeling like you can't do it, I've been there. And I'm here for you. Literally, if you're close to me, literally, you call my phone at any time, I'll pick up that phone. I don't care day or night. I'd rather talk to you now than never talk to you again. And if I don't know you and you see this and you just feel related to me in that way, man, hit me up. DM, WhatsApp, I don't care. Get in touch. I'll respond. You matter. I appreciate you. I love you. And other people do too. And maybe you just can't see that right now. So June is Men's Mental Health Month. So with that being said, on that note, the fellas, man, I love you guys. I appreciate you. And to the men in my life I shared the most amazing relationships with, I appreciate you guys so fucking much. Thank you. Thank you guys. To anyone out there else who needs to know that they matter, that you're special, that you mean something. You do. And again, you're no less anything because you feel this way. Because maybe you do feel alone, because maybe you do feel like you don't want to do it anymore. We all feel that way sometimes. Just don't let it win. Don't give up today. Give up tomorrow. Don't give up for one more day. Just keep going. You can do it. To anyone listening, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.